It's time to review trading activities at the Nigerian Exchange Limited. And with me live in the studio this afternoon to continue this conversation is my colleague, markets editor, Effiong Ekop. Effiong, it's good to have you in this Friday afternoon.
It is my pleasure, Tulu.
What would you say, and in your assessment, the performance of the market in the week? Let's look at it that way.
The market continues with, rewarding investors excellently. And we have seen the erosion that of the prices, they continue. This day, the market is closing index 0.49%, almost half of a percentage point.
Yeah.
Yes, and the big banks, many of them that are listed on the premium board section of the market, all of them are doing very well. They grab very good prices. Talk about UBA, First Bank, Access, Zenith, WAPCO. They are doing very well. Tolu, I told you the other day that even for some weeks to come, we are still going to see the markets, in the positive territory. It's been predicted during the early hours of, New Year, when we started, that investors are in, they will be recouping, dividend from their investment for, close up to, say, ending of March. That is the first quarter of the year. And we are moving towards that, and we've seen, look at even the earnings that many of the companies have reported. They are doing very, very well. Very, very well. In fact, some of them have surpassed predictions. And we are beginning to see that there is great stability in the operations of majority of the quoted companies, except manufacturing that are, we know their basic problems. The financial subsector, they are doing well. And we see insurance coming into the fray. Insurance are really looking up and then grabbing attention. Majority of the people who used to dump insurance stocks, they have picked them up and gone through.
Let me just interject. This third-party insurance thing I was reading through today while doing my research, about 250 billion or something has come into the industry, and more is coming.
Yes, look at the multiplier effects that is going to have if majority of the people who own vehicles
have it. I hear about 30% or 40% of Nigerians have third-party insurance.
The question is that, they have the sector operators have woken up. So what were they waiting for all of this years? Do you know that in other economies, insurance industry, they play greater role than even the banks. It is even insurance companies that own many banks in many other economies. But it is the reverse here. So if they are waking up, so good, and the economy will be better for it.
Let's wrap it up in 1 minute. What do you expect for next week?
Tolu, I expect this upward swing in markets first, honestly.
You're optimistic?
Very, very optimistic. Because earnings are coming in. We have not closed very far away before we close the first quarter. And the banking results that ended the industry's operation last, December, we are expecting. And the prices will still move up, except towards April before you see them receding. What am I saying? Bring the money that you've been keeping, come and play in the market.
I'm putting all my money in the market now because I need to reap from this positive. My colleague there, Effiong Ekop, always very optimistic about trading. Thank you so much. I have a great weekend.
The same way I wish you.
All right then. Well, let's take you outside our shores. Asian stocks inched up today ahead of a key U.S. payrolls data as investors considered prospects that a broader trade war could be averted, while the yen hits its highest in nearly 2 months. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index rose 0.17%, poised for over 3% rise in the week. Chinese blue chips rose 0.8%, leaving MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan up 0.3%. Overnight, U.S. stocks were mixed at the end of the choppy session as investors assessed the spate of earnings, with shares of Amazon slipping in extended trading on weakness in the retailer's cloud computing unit and soft forecast. The Bank of England has cut interest rates to 4.5% as it halves its UK growth forecast for this year and warns households would face renewed pressure from rising prices. With the government under fire over the sluggish economy, the bank's Monetary Policy Committee voted by a majority of 7-2 to reduce interest rates down from 4.75% in order to provide relief to borrowers. It sounded like the alarm for the year ahead, downgrading its 2025 growth forecast made in November from 1.5% to 0.75%. The bank warned inflation would peak at 3.7% by autumn, almost twice the 2% target set by the government. U.S. Transportation Secretary Mr. Sean Duffy says he has held aviation-focused talks with Trump's administration adversary and CEO of SpaceX, Mr. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, suggesting that drastic change could come to the country's civil aviation regulators. According to the Transportation Secretary, the meeting focused on reforming the U.S. airspace and raised concerns about the military use of helicopters in Washington, D.C.'s crowded airspace after a deadly collision last week. Mr. Duffy's comment comes a week after the Army Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines regional jetliner that was moments away from landing at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
We need a whole upgrade of the airspace. I had a conversation with Elon Musk yesterday. He's a pretty remarkable guy. He thinks differently than I think probably a lot of us do, but he has access to the best technological people, the best engineers in the world. We're going to remake our airspace, and we're going to do it quickly. And we have the support of the Congress, I think, right now to say, you know what, we're using like 1960s World War II technology in much of the components of the airspace. We're going to upgrade it and make sure that America has the most innovative, technologically advanced air system, air traffic control system that's going to make it safer, and it's going to make it more efficient. And so that's the mission that we have on the FAA side.
Crude oil prices rose marginally in Asian trade today, but we're on track for a third straight week of decline, hurt by U.S. President Donald Trump's renewed trade war on China and threats of tariff hikes on other countries. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to sell for $71.01 per barrel, with an uptick of 0.57%. Brent experienced an upward price margin of 0.65% to sell for $74.77 per barrel. Bonny Light sells for $78.62 with a decline of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, dealers offer $77.17 with a downward review of 0.35%. Well, that's our show today and for the week. On behalf of the entire production crew, thank you so much for being a part of it. I'll see you on Monday.